Okay, I don't know if you can hear upstairs. There's a lot of walking around going. We have some people staying with us, which is very exciting, but we don't have a floor up there yet. So you can hear like all of their steps. So I apologize if that transfers into the video. I do have a ton of books to talk about, both for the month of September, which I had a lot of duds in September. Did I have a single good book? Yes, I did. I had two. Okay, so I had a lot of duds in September, but I do have my October reads, and I've already read a couple, and I already have been in love with a couple. So I'm very excited to talk about the books that we're going to be reading in October / I've already kind of read, but I won't give away anything. Let's get into the books that I read in September. These are all the books that I read in the month of September. I read 7 books, which is honestly like a really good reading month for me. And most of these, you know what? I think one I listened on audiobook, but I can only remember listening to one. I think there was one book that I tried to listen on audiobook, but then I was like, I cannot with this author. So I ended up not listening to it on audiobook. I ended up just reading it physically, which was fine. It's just kind of difficult. My daughter also in September was not feeling so well, so she was doing a lot of naps, and that contributed to me being able to read so much because she was taking so many naps. But let's get started with this. I have a dust in my nose. Anyways, I started off reading the book Summer's End. This is the 5th book in the Shady Hollow series. I gave this a 3-star book. The whole series is like a 3-star series for me, but like a good 3 stars. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's different levels of 3 stars. There's a 3-star of like meh, and then there's a 3-star of this was so good. I'm gonna recommend it anytime somebody's like, I want a cozy book. I'm gonna recommend this every single time, but also like it's not anything special. It's just like almost nostalgic. It's almost like when you are an adult and you're like, oh, let me rewatch all of my favorite Christmas movies. Like that's kind of what this book is. It's not that it's like anything special or amazing. It's just that it just does something for your soul, you know, little nice thing for your soul. So I really liked this one. I'm not going to spoil it because it is the 5th book. So I won't give away too much, but to be honest with you, you could read these out of order except for book 1. As long as you read book 1, the rest of them don't matter. And the only reason why book 1 really truly matters is because it affects certain people that if they just never brought it up again, like it would be weird to not bring it up. It was such a central part of some characters' lives. So especially this one. I don't know, how much can I talk about this? Well, I can tell you that there is a field trip that some students go on, and Vera Vixen who is like our main character. She is a fox. By the way, all of these are animals. She's a fox. She's a reporter. She also solves crime, just like on the side. And she is a volunteer for this, little field trip that the kids go on. And, you know, there's like a little mystery to be solved. So of course it's a murder mystery. So just, you know, there's a murder that happens. It happens. But yeah, this was a fantastic book. I know what you're thinking, like if it's so fantastic, why did it get 3 stars? Because like it's fantastic in that like nostalgic, playful way. Like I really enjoyed this. It was very cozy. Again, I'm always going to recommend it. You've got really spicy characters in there. You've got really funny characters in here. You've got some characters that just like remind you of like Bear in the Big Blue House. What was that one? Spot, the dog, Wishbone. You know, there's characters that remind you of Wishbone. There's characters that remind you of just like nostalgia, and it's fun. It's a fun read. So yes, it's 3 stars because this is not going to compete with the likes of Homer and the Iliad. This is not going to compete with some of those other like great classics, but at the same time, it's a book that I could actually see myself rereading this entire series. Do you know what I mean? That's how good it is. So I gave it 3 stars. I'm giving the whole series 3 stars. The last book, book 6, actually comes out, I think on the 12th. So probably comes out as this is coming out. It should be coming out relatively soon. And that one I think is Mockingbird Court, something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but I will be reading that too. I've already pre-ordered it. I guess we'll just get out all of the paperbacks. There's only 2. So the next book that the book that I read next was The Grace Year. This is by Kim Leggett. I'm gonna be honest with you, I should have just DNF'd this. It was not that great. I was very bored throughout this whole entire book. There was just so much being dragged out. It took so long for us to get to the actual Grace Year, which is the title of this book. And it just felt boring. It felt very sluggish. It felt very slow. It felt like we were just throwing things in here. It was also a very politically driven book. And I don't mean like this world's politics. I mean our world's politics really reflected in this book. And it was very clear on the beliefs that the author needed you to believe in order to be rooting for our character. It was a hard book to read. And then getting to the ending, I was like, that was it? Like that's the whole book? Like, that's it? I expected something magical. I've seen people give this book 5 stars, 6 stars. I've seen people rave about this. And so I was just very confused as to why we got where we got. Given all that was like loved about this book. I was so desperately trying to figure it out, and I was like, well, maybe I just stick with it, and I did stick with it, and I wish I hadn't stuck with it because it just was not something worth sticking to, in my opinion. That's my opinion, whatever. I will say that no, I think I've said everything. I think I've said everything I needed to say, and I have nothing else to say. If you are not familiar with this story, the story is about a girl who goes through this grace year. Everybody goes through this, every female goes through their grace year. I think they have to turn 16, something like that. 16th year. And then they go into this wild. It's a 2-day journey. They do their grace year. It's a whole year long. They have to release all of their magic into the earth before they can come back home. Not everybody comes back home. It gets a little crazy in there. And the men are afraid of the women, and they're very misogynistic. They're almost like comically misogynistic. Like, there are no redeeming qualities for them. Even the ones that are pretty innocent and pretty much just want the best, even they are comically still misogynistic, and it's like nobody can win. Like, they just can't win. So yeah, it was a book. It happened. It's a very pretty cover. Really like the cover. Do I think this is a YA book also? There's no there's no adult spice, I will just say it that way. But of course there are love interests. Would I let my daughter read this? Probably not in like her early YA years. I think it would be something that she would read when she's like closer to 17. But this is a book that I probably would not be like any YA. I would say this is like older YA. And I'm not even just talking about like the politic part. I'm talking about like, it gets gruesome. Like there's very intense scenes in here that even as an adult, I was like, ooh, we're getting really graphic in here about certain things. Would I let my kid read this? Definitely not in the early YA years, probably in the later ones. And I would probably read it along with her so that I could explain certain stuff, like the gore aspect. I would want to explain just a lot of that because I don't want her to have nightmares. That's all. I just don't want her to have nightmares. But overall, I think I gave it 2 stars. So there you go. I did give it 2 stars. Probably, I have no idea why I gave this 2 stars. I just did. I don't know. Maybe it was like an in the moment thing. Maybe I felt bad. I don't know. This book, I gave 4 stars. I loved this book. This is actually a Russian book that was translated into English. This is Vida Nostra. This is by Mariana and Sergei Dyaichenko. I honestly cannot. I'm so sorry. If you are Russian and you know how to pronounce this, please, like, leave that comment down below. But I loved Vida Nostra. It was so beautiful. It was so lyrical. It was so fun. I don't know if this is YA. I don't think it is. I think it is. I don't even know if in Russia they have the same like criteria for like YA and adult. Like it's a different culture. So I don't really know, but I do know that this was so good. This is like the dark academia. This is what every dark academia book should be shooting for. It is about this girl. She's in the equivalency of high school is what I would say. And she's basically studying like I'm just going to speak in American terms because I know I have a lot of people from America watching me, and I don't think you're going to understand a lot of like the Russian side of it. But let's just pretend she's studying for her SATs and trying to get into a college, a good college. It's so good because she's on vacation with her mom. This guy kind of just like gives her this task. He's like, this is what you're going to do, and you're just going to do it. And then she does it, and like she's throwing up these gold coins, and then that's her tuition to this magical school. It's fantastic. I'm not going to give too much because I don't want to spoil it. I want you to go into this book. I want you to read this book. But if you like dark academia, but you like twisty dark academia with more academia than weird side quests, like this is the book for you. Like truly, 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 this is what I have wished every dark academic book that I've ever read. I wished it was like this. There was one book that I read. I think I read it last year. Did I read it last year or this year? Maybe I read it at the beginning. No, I read it last year. Oh, it was in November. Okay. An Academy for Liars. That's the book. So I wanted An Academy for Liars to be like Vita Nostra, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't clicking for some reason. And this one, it just did. It was so good. I gave this book 4 stars and phenomenal. Actually, just 100% phenomenal. Highly recommend it. If you're looking for a dark academic book, please pick this one up. It is a Russian original, so it's going to have certain things that maybe translate better in the Russian language than it does in English. Like there's certain things that they do. For instance, there's a lot of bribing of like officials. So there's a lot of that, but I think that again is just going to make more sense to a Russian than it is to an American. I think we're going to have a different point of view from it. Speaking as somebody who also has immigrant parents, like there are things that my parents did growing up in their country that don't translate as well in the United States of America, if that makes sense. There are going to be a few things that are just culturally going to be more expected, whereas like in America we might frown upon that. So I just want to give you that heads up. But for the most part, I don't think you'll have an issue with that. I think that you will actually just really enjoy this book. So please give it a try. Please, please, please give it a try. If there's any book I've ever recommended on this channel, this one, give it a try. Just do it. Just give this one a try. Trust me, just give it a try. We're gonna move on. We'll talk about that one last. This book, Apples Never Fall, I can't tell you why I didn't like it because it would spoil the entire book, but I did not like it. It made me so angry. It made me so frustrated. It made me ready to rip out all of the, you know, those people that like have books torn up and they use them as like wallpaper or like decoration. They make like flowers and all that stuff. I would use this book to do those projects because I don't care. That's how much I was so angry with this book. So frustrated and mad and angry, just angry. This book follows an entire family. They are tennis pros, I guess you could say, and there is a little mystery because the mom goes missing. Now, this entire thing just frustrated me from the beginning because it was just kind of like if all of you just got into a single room and had a conversation, none of this would have happened. Or even better yet, if you just waited for the book to come out, none of this would have happened. Like, it was so infuriating. It was so frustrating. I was beyond mad. I was beyond angry. Was this superb? Was this fantastic? Was this enlightening? This is probably going to end up on my Pango. This is not going to be a book that stays with me. It's just not. This is not going to end up in the the final library, if you will. What did I give this as a rating? It can't have been that high. How did this get 2 stars? I think maybe I just was giving things 2 stars if I like managed to finish the book, because there was one book that I DNF'd and gave it 1 star because I could not even finish it. But yeah, this one was not it. Oh, let's talk about this. This next book was a highly anticipated book for me. I was beyond excited to read it. I wanted it to be our book of the month for my Discord server. It ended up not being that, but I did end up reading it in 4 hours because I was nap trapped at the time with the sick baby. And so I just read it really fast while she was napping. And it is called Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is an adult book by her. She normally writes YA. And I do feel as though I am happy that when she went YA, when she went adult themed and not adult smut, which is what I feel a lot of authors do. When they transition into adult, I feel like they transition into like just a lot of spice and a lot of romance, and that did not occur with this one. This book is about our main character, Jet, who basically gets attacked on Halloween night and has about 7 days left to live because she is going to form an aneurysm, and that aneurysm will burst and then she will be dead. So she has essentially been killed and she's trying to find out who did that. And it was a very interesting book. I think it was very fast paced and it was very good about that. There were some things that I was like, hey, if I only had 7 days left to live, like what would be things that I would be interested in doing that just did not bring it up. So I felt that was a little strange. I felt like the mom was very reasonable. I know she's like an outlandish character, but I feel like when you're grieving and you're trying to prevent something from happening, that is how you act. Like that is exactly how you act. So you're doing whatever you can. And so that made sense. Even her outlandish behavior, it just made a lot of sense. Was I mad about it? No, I wasn't. I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. The dad, I was like, why are you grieving in this manner? Like that's strange to me, but whatever. C'est la vie. There were a lot of things that did not get wrapped up towards the end that I had questions on, like certain things that I was like, hey, this person should be getting arrested. Are they getting arrested? Because they are doing some serious crimes. There were a couple people like that, but overall, I did think this was a good book. Did I think it was fantastic? No. Did I think it was like something that I would pick up again? No. I think she cursed at least every paragraph, if not every sentence. There was a swear word. That was really annoying. Like, I was like, can we just move on from that? I don't understand what the sensation of cuss words is, but it was just so frequent that I was like rolling my eyes. Another thing is, I have not noticed this in other Holly Jackson books, but she used the phrase sniffed in some sort, like either she sniffed, he sniffed, they sniffed, somebody sniffed. She used it so many times that I actually made a video of me going through an ebook and highlighting every time it said sniffed. It was a lot. That word was used so many times that it was comical. I was like, stop sniffing. Like, somebody get them a Benadryl, get them a tissue, do something, but stop sniffing. It's so frustrating. So that was kind of a drawback. I did end up giving this 2.5 stars. It was not anything wild and extraordinary. I do think that this was kind of a letdown, but also I am happy that she did certain things that she did to make this adult, but also like I felt like this could have been better as a YA, especially the way that our main character was getting treated. I felt like it would have been better as a YA, but I do hope that Holly Jackson does continue to do adult books, because I do like that she was able to do certain themes that were much darker that would not be appropriate for YA. I think even just like a Good Girl's Guide to Murder started to hint and want to go into certain themes that were too dark for YA. So I do appreciate that she went adult. I think she should go adult. I think she'd be more suited for it, but I do think that she needs to either mature her characters or just figure out that balance, which I mean, that's common. So I'm not gonna like never read another adult one again. I'm going to continue to pick up Holly Jackson because I do think she is a really good popcorn book, you know, where you can just like sit there and binge it. I just think that those like small things need to be fixed. Okay, let's talk about this one book. I don't really want to talk about it, but All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker was really gruesome and kind of hard to read at times. This is kind of a chunky book. It was given to me by my cousin. Shout out to my cousin. She's wonderful. She also is a lover of books, and I really, really appreciate her. She actually also lent me the book Sandwich, which, I mean, I was like, girl. But this one was rough. It was rough to read. I think I ended up just giving it 3 stars. I can't remember. Yeah, 3 stars. Most of the 3 stars is just because I don't think it was the right time for me to read this. I think it was like so heavy, and it's kind of hard for me to read books that require a lot of my attention right now, just because I have a young child. This is during her nap time is the time that I get to read. I think a lot of my attention, also she was sick last month, so I think a lot of like my mental brain was going towards sick baby. But this book, if you are curious, if you're like, maybe I want to give it a try, this book is about this guy and this girl. His name, I can't remember what his real name is, but they call him Patch, and then her name is Saint. And Saint is just, I mean, in the beginning, they start off as kids. It follows them through decades, really. I can't even remember. I think, I don't remember how many years, but it's quite a few years that this goes through. And in the beginning, Patch saves like this very popular girl and gets kidnapped himself. Saint never gives up looking for him. She eventually does find him, and that's when the story begins. I will say that this was very rough. I don't know how to even explain it than using the words like that, but it was just very dramatic. It was very devastating at times. You really felt for these characters. These characters were very real. These are just the consequences of their fates. Like, it just, everything that happened in this book made perfect sense. And of course it happened. And of course the next step would be to feel in this way, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I just felt like a lot of the stuff that we dealt with in this book, a lot of the consequences that happened from the actions of adults and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like all of those things added up. And as like somebody who studies psychology, like you're watching this story unfold and you're like, yeah, of course they felt that way. Of course she went into this field. Of course he did this. Like, of course those things happened. And it was just very, very sad. So I don't want to give away too much because there's a lot that happens in this and there's a lot to spoil, but if you are looking for something that's pretty dark and pretty, just very dark, just a very dark book, this would be the book for you. I did finish it and it was good. Just very dark, very heavy, very dark. Would I recommend it? I would have to talk to you and see if this book would be for you. I would not just give it to anybody, but I would definitely say check it out if you are looking for something of this nature. I do like this author though. I might check him out in other books that he's written, but I do like the author. The last book that I read in the month of September was our book of the month. And this book is so controversial because I have just seen every type of review and I will be talking about it. I gave this book 1 star. I actually tried to DNF it, but I ended up finishing it because it was part of a bingo that I'm doing in my Discord server. You're more than welcome to join. If you win, you get a free book. And I tried to just DNF it, but because some of the people who are doing the bingo needed to read this book in order to finish the bingo, like a bingo square, in order to get a bingo square. I decided solidarity, I will also do it. I did create the bingo, so I will just go ahead and do that. So we read Calabasas. This is by R.F. Kuang. I will probably never read another R.F. Kuang book because she is just clearly not the author for me. I don't like any of her books. I have not been able to get into any of her books. I am just not an R.F. Kuang stan. If you are, awesome. She's just not for me. This book was super pretentious. It was very pompous. Didn't like a single one of the characters. None of it made any sense. The whole point of this book ended up not being necessary at all. And I really don't know how this was classified as a romance book because there is no romance in the book at all. It's just not there. This book is about Alice Law and Peter Murdoch, I think his last name is, and they go into hell, which is basically Dante's Inferno, and they are going to try and get their professor, who Alice may or may not have been the reason he is there. They're trying to get him out. This professor is so unlikable that you're like, why are we trying to save him? And Alice Law answers it for you because she needs him in order to graduate. Because she doesn't want to start over. Which, I mean, yeah, if you put in 4 years of work, I would not want to start over 4 years of work. That would be super annoying. But also, in order to go into hell, you have to give up half of your life. So you're going to probably pass away in like, I don't know, 10, 15 more years. I would not. I would just restart the last 4 years. Like, that seems so stupid. Just be like, what? No. No, thank you. I don't think it's worth it. Like, it didn't make sense for her to have to go through all of this. Everything that she went through, all of the hullabaloo that she went through, just did not seem worth it. And I just couldn't understand it. So, was this a book that I would ever recommend? No. This book seemed very sexist. It seemed very anti-Christian, which as a Christian, I'm just not interested. It seemed very racist. Like, this book was super racist. There was a lot going on. There's just so much going on. I'm just not interested in it. I am going to respectfully never touch another R.F. Kuang book ever again. It also felt like she was mocking some of the greatest writers in the world. She was just taking apart people like Aristotle, Socrates, and I know she gives a little heads up in the very beginning of like, hey, I use some of these people's work, but I also use it for my own, and I twisted a lot of the things that they said. Like, I understand that she gave a little disclaimer at the beginning, but still, like, she butchered so many things that I just was like, what are you even doing? Some of the things felt like a copy paste. Other things, I was like, did you just need a famous person's name that we would recognize? Like, you could have made that person's name up and it would have given the same effect, but I don't know. It just was not for me. Was not for me. Okay, thank you. Bye. I gave it a 1 star. Thank you. Okay, bye. Those were the 7 books that I read in September. Not the greatest month for me to read. However, I will say that I've already finished a couple books in October, and one of them was a 6-star read for me, but I won't tell you which one it is. So it's October 8th, and I've already finished 3 books. One was a DNF, but I have finished 3 books already, so I'm just going to, like, right here, I have already finished Hillbilly Elegy, which I listened on audiobook. That was a very quick audiobook. It's not that long. If you are interested, it's not very long. I'm not going to give any thoughts yet. So I read Hillbilly Elegy. I have also read The Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I have also read The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, something like that. What is it called? The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. Yes, okay, yes. So I read those 3 books. I've read those 3 books, and I'm not going to give any thoughts on them just yet. You'll have to wait until the next recap, but those books have been read. Now, there are some books that I am also planning on reading as well. Those books would include, I'm gonna read The Accomplice to the Villain. I'm already on chapter 30, so I'm 120 pages in. I'll probably be finishing this soon, but this is so fun. This is the final book in the Assistant to the Villain series, and it's just super fun. I'm not going to tell you what this one is about because it will spoil everything. So just read Assistant to the Villain. It's so funny. I'm also going to be reading The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the second book in the Spell Shop series. I do believe it is a standalone though. She is just doing standalones. It's just in the same cozy world, but it is a cozy fantasy book. And I really liked The Spell Shop. This one I'm also very intrigued in. I do not know what it is about. I like to go into things blind, but I have heard some really good reviews from some other friends. So I'm excited to read this one. We have The Theory of Dreaming. I did read A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. So this is the second book. I believe it's just a duology. And so I did go ahead and grab it because it's really pretty, but also because I just want to be able to finish that duology. Yeah, this is also dark academia, I believe. And I can't really tell you what this book is about because it would ruin A Study in Drowning. Just read A Study in Drowning. Okay, guys, it was pretty good. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good. I think I gave it 3 stars, but like a positive 3 stars, if that makes sense. I also really want to read Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter's book, Shelby Cunningham. I want to read The Academy. This just screams fall. I have heard some mixed reviews though, so I am a little bit nervous, but I love Ellen Hildebrand, so I do want to give this a go. I'm excited that it's written by her daughter. I think that's really special, and I just feel like this is like the perfect fall read. I think it'll be a good cleanse because I'm reading a lot of fantasy books in October because it's October, you know? It screams fantasy. So then I also have here Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. Do I think I'm gonna get to this one? This is actually the book that I think I'm least going to get to just because I don't think I'll have enough time. The other books that I've shown are books that I really desperately want to read and get to. So I just don't know if I will have time to get to this, but I am looking forward to it. Again, I don't really know what this book is about. It was a book of the month choice though, so, and I really like Stacey Willingham, and it's a short read, so maybe we'll get to it, maybe we won't. I'm not 100%, but I do want to get to it. And then finally, our book of the month for my Discord server is Nora Roberts' Hidden Nature. This book I actually wanted to read previously. I had pre-ordered it and then I don't know what happened. I think maybe I canceled the pre-order because I decided that I just didn't want it as badly as I thought I did. I don't know. I can't remember, but I do like Nora Roberts, and I'm just excited that this became a book of the month choice. So excited to read this one. And yeah, that's the books. That's everything for this. If you want to join the Discord server, all of those links are down below. You can go ahead and do that. I have the Instagram still, but I am no longer on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, I appreciate it, but like you won't see any new content from there. I just kind of gave up Instagram, but I don't want to give up the handle because I really like my handle. Try to think of anything else, any other things. Oh, you may have noticed that the video for Calabasas has not gone up yet. I had some audio issues, so I have to refilm it, and I just don't know if I want to yet. If you still want that, then let me know down below. I will give a full review on Calabasas, but at this point I kind of just like am over it, and I'm just not interested in RF Kwong, and I don't really want to like harp on it too much, but yeah. But if you do want that review, absolutely, and then I can go into more like depth of my thoughts and feelings because I really just gave you a very short abridged version of it in this video. But if you want like a more in-depth, like absolutely I can do that. I think that's everything. Please subscribe, like the video, do all the things, help me out guys. I really appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. I'm trying to film more, but it's just been so crazy and busy, and now we're getting ready to put the floor down, which is why I'm in this weird spot. My husband has been clearing out all of the furniture in the living room so that we can put down a floor, and like my book stuff is still over here, but I need to, like, it's all like cramped, and I have to still like take that out and put that somewhere, I don't even know where, so that we can start laying down a floor. And it's just a lot going on right now, guys. Like I have so many videos that I want to film, I just haven't had a chance. So I'm hoping that once things kind of settle down, we have family coming in for my daughter's first birthday. Her first birthday is coming up. That's insane to me again. But yeah, my husband's birthday, our dog's birthday, my daughter's birthday, Thanksgiving, and my birthday, and then Christmas. Like, it's like back to back to back to back to back. Like every week we have something going on. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be hectic, but I am hoping to get some filming in. So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. But there's like a lot of videos that I want to do. I also want to go through my ultimate library and pick out books that I'm just like constantly thinking about today, that books that I read years ago that I'm still thinking about. So that's a video that I want to film to give you guys some really good recommendations. And I think that's everything. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.